Welcome to Mind Power Meets Mystic with me, Michelle Walters. I'm the Mind Power part of the show, and I am here with my co-host, Cinthia Varkevisser, our show mystic. We are joined today by one of our favorite guests, a guest who's been on several times, including like one of the first two or three episodes, Heather Zeitzwolf. And for reasons that we will explain later, we'll have Heather introduce herself now.
Oh, thank you so much, Michelle and Cinthia. Thank you for having me back. Uh, okay, well, what about me? So my name's Heather Zeitzwolf. I'm a middle-aged woman, but I don't let that stop me from being creative and doing all kinds of fun, exciting things and learning every single day. So I'm a weirdo. I would say that's okay to say, but I'm also a very serious person. So I'm a Libra, and I think that really kind of defines who I am, not to get too woo woo out of the gate, but I am sort of right brain and left brain. I love analytical stuff, I love creative things. And I'm a CPA, love spreadsheets. I know that's really weird. I'm into math, but I'm also into like AI and being creative and podcasting and being artsy every day. So I hopefully that's a good
That's a
explanation.
great intro.
Perfect.
Welcome,
Okay.
Heather.
Thank you.
So, Cinthia, tell us why Heather's on our show today.
Well, Heather is a perfect example of the second chakra, the sacral chakra, and creativity. Now, every time Heather has come on our show, it's been for a different role. So when she came on, she was the clown CPA. We talked about your past before being a CPA and all the things that you'd done. And then you came on again as a client of Michelle's, right?
Mhm.
For driving, right? Which was another amazing episode. And then we had you on again. I can't remember what this one was for, but it was
It's about the
for
board breaking.
It was the board
the
breaking.
board breaking. That's right. And so, and since then, you have become this amazing podcaster that's been a keynote speaker for Podfest multiple years in a row.
Well,
You,
1 year, 1 year.
oh, I
I've
thought
been
you'd done it the second year. Are you
oh
coming
well,
up
I've
again?
I've done speaking for them, yes, many times, but just one time for the keynote. So
Gotcha. Well, multiple
It's
times for
impressive. Yeah.
Podfest. Yeah. You're really impressive. You are an advocate for vegans. You actually helped me with my eating habits. Thank you so very much. And also now you are also talking about vegan trucks. So you have this wide variety. And then there's animal rights that you're talking about. So you have the thing that I love about you and your creativity is that you don't hold back. You love the thing that you do and then you go for it, and it doesn't mean that you stop the other thing, which a lot of people do. When Michelle and I talk about what we're doing, if you haven't noticed, Michelle's doing her marketing, what's it called, Manifest Marketing Collective, right?
Magnetic Marketing
Mag-
Collective.
magnetic magnetic marketing collective. And you can see it in her energy that it's stuff that she loves to do. And then she's got her hypnotherapy and her leadership. And however, when she's talking about one, the others go in the background, and I don't think you do that. And
oh
that's the thing that's really cool.
well, that might be to my detriment because I end up being like a juggler and trying to do too many having too many balls in the air at once. So that actually I need to kind of work on that because I get these creative ideas and then I'm just like, life is short. I want to try this. I'm just gonna go try this instead of being like, oh, okay, now if I take this path, what is that going to do to my other things? And so sometimes I probably should just pause for a second instead of just jumping right in. But I kind of feel like I just need to get that energy out and see like, is this something I like or not? And then I can just let go of that. So yeah. And the other day, so I have to tell you that I hate cleaning. And so my house is always a mess. My husband's really great at cleaning and stuff. And he's like, why don't you clean, like, what? It's like I don't even see the stuff that's the clutter, because my brain is on being creative, and like that's my focus. Like I'm like, oh, okay, I want to do this thing, and I'm just super hyper focused on it. And I'm not ADHD, so but I know that they can get super focused on something. So sometimes I'm like, am I ADHD? Like I've taken the test, I'm not, but I can get super focused on something, and then switch gears and then be super focused on something else. So, um, but my thing is, okay, I hate to equate myself to like uh Jackson Pollock, but I think about like the movie Pollock, where he's so super focused on his paintings and that everything else just really doesn't matter. He's just super focused. I feel that way sometimes when I'm like making weird pictures in AI with, tofu and stuff like that. So I'm not Jackson Pollock, but in my heart, I kind of feel like that sometimes.
Well, the thing that I love about you is, okay, you can say, you say that you are shiny object syndrome, but the reason I think it works really well for you is when you're with your clients, you still allow the leaping to happen. And so you're having it in your own life. And then when you talk with your clients, you make those creative leaps as well for them, which allows them to open up their creativity as well. And that's the other thing that I love about you is that your creativity is contagious,
Oh, I like that. Yeah, I do
right?
like that. Yeah, and it's kind of like one of those things. It's like I kind of like to think of myself as an idea machine. Like I just love coming up with ideas. Like some people they just like to create based on other ideas, but I'm like I love coming up with ideas. I heard about, I think it's Hasbro, where if you have ideas for toys, you can submit them. I'm pretty sure it's Hasbro that I heard about. I'm like, oh, that just opened up something for me. I'm like, can I design a toy? Like, that is so cool. And then, of course, that's going to take time. And then, you know what? I was like, I need to have a t-shirt shop online. So I started going down the path of looking at Printful or Printify and Etsy versus Shopify. Like, oh my God. It's
Well, I mean, here's the issue I think you're running into, Heather, is that the great equalizer of all people all over the world is time.
yeah,
All of us have 24 hours a day. All of us have 7 days a week. And, even if some of us skip doing the dishes, because I'm kind of like you, like if someone else will do them, great. Um, but it all comes down to there's only so much time. And when you have so much time and you have 42 ideas for every 37 seconds, how are you ever gonna catch up, you know?
I know.
But
I know.
but so I think Cinthia, help us understand a little bit more how where the second chakra is and what it's all about, because we're talking to Heather and we're going to talk to a few other people, but I want to kind of help our listeners and me understand kind of what it's about. It's kind of like self-expression or something, isn't it?
It's
And
about self-expression.
Cynthia,
Yes.
I also want to know, how do I put some of that energy back into my chakra so it doesn't keep coming
So
out?
it doesn't
That's
leak out.
actually, yeah, that is actually a really, really good question. And there are a bazillion different ways to do it, but I'll tell you how I do it. Um, but back to the first
Yes,
question. So the sacral chakra for me, because right, is because everything I get is through channel. I like to call it the itty chakra. So it's receptivity, creativity, femininity, all these itties. There's an emotion to it, but there's when we talk about the emotions in this chakra, it's not attached to ego, right? So it's that kind of emotions like the momentum and excitement and those things that carry us forward. Um, the thing that it sits right in front of our reproductive system. So it's down really low. It's tied in very closely to the root chakra. If you look at it on along your spine, right? The root chakra is at your tailbone, and then right above it, not right above it, but very close, is the sacral chakra. And it's interesting because when I think of the root chakra, it's all about the survival stuff, right? So it's security, safety, all these things, foundation, right? And then right above it is creativity. So you need one in order to have the trust to do the other, right? That's the way that I like to look at it. Um, the reason that we picked you is that you have multiple businesses and multiple interests that go simultaneously. And I don't consider it a detriment. Everybody does their own thing, right? It's not a detriment in my mind. Um, okay, so one of my favorite people is this guy named Rob Deerdeck. And I got to watch, do you know Rob
Mm.
Deerdeck? Okay, so he is a retired professional skateboarder and he worked in his ADHD. So what he did is whenever he got bored, he just created another company and then he created another company. The reason, and I like that because he's continually creating something and finding a need and then filling it, right? I found out about him because he was on some crazy reality show with his bodyguard. And bodyguard's name was Big Black, and they were having such a good time. He was just infectious, right? He had just had an infectious nature about him and became super popular. And then one, two, three, four, five, six shows just start popping up with
Wow.
along with other stuff. Right. And now I'm not, you tested, you don't have ADHD. However, you have the same ability to either create a company or do. So let's talk about, you just came back from an animal rights um, convention, right? Is that what
Hmm.
you did?
Yeah.
And then right after that, you went someplace else. And
Mexico.
Corey, and that was for you. And then there was something that also was related to podcasting. And so you're like pop, 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 pop. Oh, and we did podcasting right before that. So I find it so amazing that you went podcast, animal rights, something else, right? Veganism. And then you just, and you then you go back home and, so you're
Hey,
celebrating.
your ability to jump from
Right.
A to B to C to D to E is is very special. It is highly unusual. Well, think
Oh.
about it. I mean, you're the only clown CP I have ever heard of.
Right.
Well, yeah, now you might be scaring people that I might like end up looking like Pennywise or something when they meet with me. No, I don't wear the clown makeup anymore. But I like to think that I'm funny. So the other thing is I'm taking a comedy
Right.
class
Comedy
right now.
class.
I'm taking a
Right.
comedy class on Saturdays right now. So, and not saying that I want to be a stand-up comedian, which I just realized that I don't know how to write jokes, but it's been fun just to go to open mics and just put myself out there because the thing is we're not getting any younger. I think we're all in our 50s, if that's okay to say out loud, and it seems like time is running out. Like, if we're going to try stuff, we need to just do it. And being that we're entrepreneurs, that also gives us the flexibility most of the time to be able to kind of make our own hours and do our own thing. And granted, we have to make money to support those things. But, when I was a 9 to 5er, I couldn't do a lot of these things. So now I'm like, because I'd be like, oh, I want to go to this conference, but I couldn't go, or my boss wouldn't send me or something. And, you couldn't get the time off or whatever. But now it's like, oh, okay, especially if there are things that I can work into the business and tie it all in. So like I went to the animal rights conference and I got a client, so it's like, and I met with people that are, potential future clients, or I've met them, online before. So things kind of like they weave together, now I just got to figure out how to weave in drag queens into everything that I'm doing.
Okay, we totally need to talk because I want to be a faux queen, right? So I want to be a faux queen and I also want to do burlesque. And if I had a little bit more Heather Zeitzwolf channeled in, I know that I would be doing that, right? So you'd be looking in the background and you'd see a pole and a chaise and yeah,
Oh, well,
and a
what's
fan.
stopping you? Is it fear, or is it time or money, or
Right
what's
now it's time, right?
okay?
My focus is writing a book
Oh.
and yes, writing a book and getting back to the thing that I love, which is doing readings and helping people understand their intuition and stepping into their power with their
Mm.
intuition. So, that's the shit that like makes my heart sing. So I got to work that part first. And then as soon as that's down, oh yeah, you're gonna see my ass all over the place. Literally. Literally.
Well, speaking of that, like what you're talking about, like sometimes I feel like energy like comes to me like an idea or something, and it's like, is the universe telling me something? Like I better act on that, you know. So I don't know if it's just the universe or if it's just my active brain. I don't know.
Well, I don't know how we really tell the difference. How do you tell
Right.
the difference between what is your active brain or the universe? I don't know. I've been thinking about it in the context of AI, right? Like AI is kind of the summation of human knowledge. Whether or not we said it was okay for them to put my book in there, like it might be in there, right? Like I don't know. This is the new reality. But there's this piece of me that's like, okay, so all of this is like looking backward based upon things that we've had in the past.
Mhm.
I believe, and I think you two both believe too, that there's some amount of spirit, genius, one mind connection, something that is not really based upon looking backwards. It's based upon some kind of present that showers down like a sudden understanding of something that you didn't understand before, or being able to like, I just think you're supposed to know this right now, kind of thing. Um, so I think there are other things that sit on top of it, but I don't know. I mean, my God, the world is changing quickly. So anyway, but you were so fun, Heather. So I mean, like how many different, I don't know that we could quantify your interests. We would run out of fingers for sure.
They definitely go into buckets, you know, like I mean, I love being creative, and you know, the technology and all that makes it easier to I think about, I used to buy paints and paint and draw and do all that kind of stuff, but I don't need to buy those art supplies anymore. I can do everything on the computer. So like the other day I went to the art store with my husband, and normally in the past I would have spent all kinds of money like buying the paper and the brush and all those kind of things. But I was just like, I could just do this online, you know. But at the same time, though, when I was in Mexico and I like put my computer away, I one of my favorite things to do when we're at the resort is to get one of those like some kind of ceramic, and then you paint it and then they fire it up and you get to see it the very next day. So I'll give you a copy of it, but I made a really cute little bowl with turtles on it. And so I still love doing arts and crafts type stuff. It's just making time for it. And but I don't know where that tangent went. But okay.
Tell us
Yeah, but it's
about new
yeah.
savvy frugal vegan stuff. What's going,
Oh,
it's like you've been on the show before, but not since Savvy Frugal Vegan got born.
yeah. Well, you know, the again, this is kind of like me just sort of putting things out to the universe to see what might stick. But you know, I was like, okay, what are things that I like? Well, I like saving money. I'm cheap. I love to save money. And so frugal. Okay, there we go. And I like to think that I'm pretty good at it. So let's just put the word savvy in there. And I was thinking about sassy because I'm sassy, but savvy seemed better. And then vegan, I'm vegan. So I'm like, okay, what can I do with this name? And I was thinking, everyone asked me like, oh, how do you save money, you know, buying vegan, cooking vegan food, you know, it seems so expensive. And I'm like, it's not. So then I thought, okay, I'll make some videos about that. And I did, and it was fun. But you know, it's like it felt like the universe was telling me like, not your lane. So then I thought, okay, well, I'll try something else. And so, you know, I started this podcast around food trucks, and that's been really fun. But I think I'm going to like open it up to other vegan businesses as well. So you know, I just create something and then just sort of see where it goes. And you know, the fun is in creating. It's not always the end product. So for some people, I think it's all about the end product. And like the guy with the skateboard, he's probably like he's starting these businesses and he wants to like see it through with, you know, to the end, maybe sell his business. I'm just imagining. Like to me, it's like, it's not as important. Like creating things is more
It's
fun.
the
And
starting. It's the starting of things that I like so much. I was
yeah, see, some
realizing
people
this
just like
the
to
other
start.
day. It's the starting. And that part of starting is like is the creative energy, right? It's the like what happens if this, what could this look like? What would happen if I tried something? And I love that. Love that. Love that. Love that.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I think some people have like, you know, business partners, because they have one person that's that visionary and then the other person that's like, okay, how are we going to, you know, put this into place and organize it? And yes, I do have both sides, but I just don't have the time all, you know, to always do that. So,
Right, to be both sides. And it's not always interesting, you know. The thing that we talk about on this show that you really embody is that we are infinitely curious. And that's
Mm.
why we're always, you know, interviewing a wide variety of people. You are infinitely curious and then you pursue it on your own. And again, I would love to hear about some clients that you've had where, you know, they're stuck, you get creative, and then it sparks their creativity because I believe, I mean, you did that for me. I've seen you do it with other people. So I believe that is one of your little secret sauces.
Yeah, well, I have one client where when the person first came to me, they were not able to pay their back taxes. They were not making enough money. And then we kind of talked about like, what are some other possible revenue streams? And that person has gone on to write a book, build a membership, has podcasts, is now doing more coaching type stuff. So things can, change and morph. But I mean, I kind of like planted that seed, I think, and then all these things happen. So and then I love to like, I'm dealing with people's revenue and okay, yeah, revenue streams. That's one of my favorite things to talk about. Like, how can we develop another revenue stream? So it's just fun coming up with ideas. And I have a degree in advertising, so and I used to work in market research, so I love the marketing part of things as well. And then I've done sales, so it's like I've touched all these different aspects of business, and I have a couple of business degrees, so it's like it's not just about like doing the financial part of it. I like all of it. But
Yeah.
I'm still curious about how I put some of that
Oh,
chakra energy
energy.
back
Okay.
in my chakra.
So here's the thing. What you want to do is that you want to acknowledge all the chakras. Once you start acknowledging all the chakras, a lot of the balancing out will happen. Okay. And you don't have to, it doesn't have to be this big, long thing, right? So the way that I was taught is that you imagine that there are these spinning discs and they have colors, and then you want to make sure that the spinning disc um, that as it spins that it cleans itself, right? And then you go and it's like a rotor rooter. So there's, you know,
Okay.
in our root chakra, there's this beautiful red spinning disc, and you're going to allow it to spin faster and faster. And as it goes faster, it glows higher, all these things, right? And then you move up to your second chakra, and then right? And just so you know, the chakras are the colors of the rainbow. So,
Oh,
right? So Reiki Biv. So you're going to go ahead and do, and this is violet, but it's also known as gold on the crown chakra. So you can go ahead and just start spinning these things. What you'll find is that as you spin, your body is going to go into alignment, right? And your second chakra is automatically going to fall in line. Okay. The thing that I would actually do for you or recommend is you're going to find that in your imagination, which is where everything lies, right? That's where all truth lies. Truth, honestly, is in your imagination, right? So as you're going through, you'll probably find that there's another chakra that's out of sync, right? And as you balance one, it's going to balance the other because we don't
mm.
normally just come from one chakra, right? So, and so that's what I would find. And then once that's done and you're moving it all along, then you're solidifying. And by solidifying, there's not going to be any leakage. So if you do this,
Oh, you don't want a leaky chakra, huh?
no, no. Not unless you want to wear a diaper pad or something like that, an energetic diaper pad. So
And but if they're all aligned, is that like enlightenment? I mean, it seems like if you're like perfect, you've got the perfect chakras going on.
I don't know. Anybody has got perfect chakras. I still have yet to like meet the Dalai Lama and you know some yogis. But what I have found is that when people are in alignment, they handle their day much more fluidly, right? That there aren't any surprises that make them react, that they can respond. And when they're in alignment, um, the things that bother everybody just doesn't bother them. And because it doesn't bother them, they're going to find that they're not in traffic, that they're, you know, that the universe actually lines up with them. So if you're in alignment, that means that you're in alignment with the universe as well, right?
Wow. No.
So
Okay. So what happens though? Like if you injure a part of your body that is related to that chakra, can your chakra get messed up?
that's a good question. And actually, the answer is yes and no. Um, uh, No, because it's energy, right? So that you are,
Oh.
right? It's an energetic thing. Yes, because I would say a lot of times, more times than we care to admit, we have injuries in the chakras because our chakra is not up to par at that time. So so I've been having digestive issues for a while, and so I need to take a look at my third chakra, right?
Mm.
So so it's, it could be physical, which it is. However, it is largely influenced by the energetic.
Now, what about pressure points? Do those affect your chakras?
Well, anything that can open up your energetic line. So acupressure has a different, I would say it has a different grid, but it relies on a different grid. And of course, as you work that out, wherever you can relax and line up in one area, you're going to find that you line up in other areas. So is it the same as chakra balancing? I would say not exactly, but it is going to help you line up because as you're doing your acupuncture or acupressure, then you're also opening up energy grid, right? Energy centers.
And how does one know where their chakras are at? Is there a test, or do I need to see someone like you, Cinthia, that can read my chakras?
I
I
think you can just look them up.
Yeah, you can look it up. You can look it up online. Type in chakras. There are going to be images. It's going to show you. It's going to tell you. I mean, it's
Well, how would I know? But I mean, don't I need to like answer questions to like know like where I'm
No,
at with my
no,
chakra?
no.
no.
Oh.
The
It's
chakras are in a certain place, just like in acupuncture.
Oh, but I
in
mean, like, is
certain-
mine like overactive chakra, or is my chakra leaking? Like, that's what I mean.
Oh, well, you know what's funny is that if you just do your thing, right, and
Mhm.
don't question what it is, and just work on the alignment, see what happens, I have a feeling that a lot of times you're going to be good. If you're going to find, if you find that it's still having challenges, then yeah, you're going to come to people like me, right? Or other energy workers or yogis and there are a lot of practitioners that use the chakra system in so many different ways. Actually, I believe Michelle actually uses it as well when she talks about her hypnosis, right?
Oh,
Sometimes,
cool.
So, yeah,
sometimes a little bit, not deeply, but sometimes it's a helpful way for framing things and for framing certain issues and problems. Um, and it helps people to be able to connect it and maybe take it out of like it's not about me, it's about kind of how this part of my energy isn't functioning quite right. Like when, I mean, thought about from a certain way, right? You came to see me a couple of years ago and we worked on your driving, right? Part of that, I would say, now that I've learned more about the first chakra, I think was related to first chakra stuff because you had a lot of fears related to your
Mm-hmm.
driving. And fears, I know now, are connected to the root chakra. So while we didn't sort of like head on, let's visualize the root chakra and make that red, figure out where it's supposed to go. Like in a way, it's still sort of an energetic healing of that particular energy pattern. Does that make sense,
Oh,
Heather?
yeah, it makes sense because after I got over the fear of driving, I feel like I'm less fearful about
yeah,
things.
yeah.
Hmm.
That's the beauty of it. So what happened is that you've broadened your foundation, right? And so you can stand much firmer on so many things. And that's the beauty of walking you tackle one thing, you realize that that fear is attached to so many other things, and then all of a sudden you can just relax and settle down, and then you can attack another thing, and then it just keeps untangling itself. That's the beauty
Mm,
of it.
Like
okay.
peeling an onion.
Wow.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, Heather, we've pretty much come to the end of our time. This has
Too
been
fast.
super fun. What would you like to share with our listeners? Do you have any events coming up or things you want to let people know about?
Yeah, so because I'm creative, I'm always creating something. So but you can follow me on Instagram at Savvy Frugal Vegan or on YouTube at Savvy Frugal Vegan. That's my handle on YouTube. And I've been experimenting with some different things there. I'm hoping to start a membership and roll that out probably more realistically by fall. I try to like put it out into the universe a little bit premature, but you know, that's how I roll. So Well,
No.
I stopped being like a perfectionist, except for like when I'm doing my accounting stuff. But when it's being creative and I'm like, I'll get out into the world and see what people think, and then if it's, rather than that anticipation of like, oh, you get to have that, it's something new until you put it out there. But anyways, all right. It says my internet thing is unstable, so hopefully you can hear me.
Yeah. All right. We're going to wrap it right there. Thanks. That wraps this episode of Mind Power Meets Mystic.
Thanks, Heather.